All right, back at it. I had to go over George's house to get the lacing wire. Again, one of those little things that you missed. And we're onto the seat covers. These have a flat spot in them. I'm not sure why. Not sure if I'm supposed to use that or not, but I guess I measure these, add an inch, flip them over, follow the instructions. Before I do that, I'm actually going to take these apart because I'm trying to put seat heaters in. So I'm going to take a look at how that goes. Alright, sorry, had to read the instructions there. So it comes with two elements. They're a bit longer. This one looks like it's going to be perfect for the back height. There's a little thermal sensor in there, and you can cut them. So on this particular one, I cut 3.5 inches off of the front, which you'll see 1, 2, 3. These are carbon fiber elements, and that looks like it's going to be a good size to put on the bottom half. Now, when I took this out, there's two different foams in there, a harder and a softer foam. This thing was pretty squeezed in there, so I'm going to see if I can put it in a little bit nicer. Alright, I didn't really like where that was going, so I took the other seat apart, and this is a little denser foam, but it's perfectly contoured to the padding in the seat and the seat frame. And then I mean, see how this is nicely cut, symmetrical to fit inside the pan of the seat, and then they stuffed this thing on top. And I noticed from the get-go that the seats were kind of more lumpy like that. They didn't look proper. Anyway, I'm gonna eject this piece, and basically on this seat, I already put it in. I melted a little hole back here in the middle to let the cable out for the heated seat pad, and it actually fits. You can massage it in, but it just sits so much nicer without that foam. I'm gonna try it like this. If it turns out the seat's uncomfortable, we can put the foam in and put the element on top, or a thinner foam, or a memory foam, or something else. But I'm gonna go with this route for now. Seat heaters are in. I hooked them up to my little Makita battery here, and I just pulled out to see if they get nice and warm, and they do. Oh, it's gonna be comfy. Let me disconnect that. The upper one, if you're wondering how to get the cushion out, you have to flip this whole thing inside out, because this is the pocket, and you flip it over and then you can pull it out and then you flip it back. So, all right, back to the instructions. Now I'm putting in these lacing rods, and I don't know if you can tell, but like I said earlier, they have like these little flat ends on them with a special code or a serial number. I have no idea what it is. So the question is, they give you 5. I already did these. These are the long ones, and then you got to put a long one here, a long one there. I think just one long one, yeah. And then you have to do all these little ones. So can you cut all these little ones out of one of these? these are 3, and you need to leave an inch, so that's 4, 4, this is 7 plus an inch, it'll be 8, so 16, 32, and if you cut off the flat spot like I did, I have no idea what it's for, it's 33, so it should work. Wish me luck. So I thought this might happen. For the upper seat back cushion, you have one here, one there. For the lower one, you have a long one here, a long one there, 2 mediums, and then 4 short ones. And I know I'm kind of anal, so I cut all these little flat ends off and was hoping that I wouldn't end up being short. And I am. So I'm still missing 4 inches, 8 inches, 16 inches, plus another 8 inches, that's 24 inches. And even if I didn't cut these off, it only comes to 21 inches. So there's no way those 5 36-inch lacing wires would have been enough. It's kind of aggravating because I wanted to finish this tonight. And my advice is, if you are doing this and you are set on using them, if you cut them all a 1/4 inch short, so instead of adding an inch, like they say, you know, add an inch and then bend 1/2 inch. I guess if you were to cut them all a 1/4 inch short and only add, you know, 3/8 of an inch on either side, then you might make it if you keep the flat ends. All right. Well, it looks like I'll have to order another one of those rods. I think that's kind of silly. So what I did now is basically spaced 5 equal holes for instructions. Got myself a little soldering iron and burning the holes through, at least on the top cushions, whatever I can do. Really wanted to finish these, but c'est la vie, because you lose your train of thought. If I'm gonna continue on to the fuel tanks, or back to the fuel tanks again now, and then I get that rod in next week, I'll be like, how did I do it? But I'm wondering if you can just use regular stainless rods that you could get at the hardware store. So if you Google lacing wire, it doesn't really even come up. Must be an aviation grade thing. Alright, a few days later, and I figured out that these are actually TIG welding rods. And there's a long number on one side. I probably can't read it, but on the other side it says like ER, I believe, Echo Romeo 308 and 308 long, or L, Lima, and 1/16. So I went down to the local welding shop, and he was nice enough to give me just one rod, 36 inches long. That'll be enough to fit, do the rest. So beware, do not cut off these flat ends, or maybe they could just include 6 rods instead of 5 rods, make everybody's life easy. But I believe the guy at the welding shop said that you can only buy these in 10-pound packages. I looked on Amazon, you can get them in 1-pound packages, but it's still a ton of rods that you don't need. You only need one little extra rod to do these. So that's tonight's project, finish those. All right, before I get too carried away, I got the seat covers on. Yeah, I know, sorry to wake you up. I wire tied these on the bottom. I slid them on. You kind of just have to work them to get them even. And I think overall they do a good job making them pretty symmetrical. That inserted foam, that second piece that I took out, that was not cut symmetrical, but everything else looks pretty good. And if this is of any help, on these ones here I went in 3/4 of an inch, centered it 3/4 of an inch. These ones I went in 1/2 inch, centered it 1/2 inch. That being 3 inches actually makes these 1 inch spacing in between. Then I tightened these, not super, well, pretty tight, but kind of to where I think they should be. And I matched the same thing here. This distance, if it's of any reference for you guys, again, I don't have the second piece of foam in there, is 3 inches. And I wanted them both to be kind of the same. And then I made this distance 2 inches. That seems to fit really well. And this is about 1.5, give or take. I don't have these 2 wire ties in yet. I kind of, yeah, see, I kind of want to move them around a little bit. So yeah, seems like this one's a little looser than this. Oh, that's why. Okay. I guess when I was doing it, I had it tight. So obviously that back strip loosens. That makes me wonder, I do have this piece in the right place. Actually, check that. I'll get back to you on that. Next up is putting the headrests in. And I kind of marked them with little white dots. I kept massaging this around, making sure the lumps are gone, and try to get the seam. Looks like this one's off a little bit on one side of the bar so that it's not lumpy. And on average, not 100%, but from the top of this pocket down, I ended up 1.5 inches down. And this one I really have no way of measuring, so it kind of just ends up wherever it is. But hopefully it'll look straight when I put it all together. All right, I just confirmed it. I am on the proper bolt here that this pole goes on. You have an itchy ear, and I guess when it folds forward, it just relieves a little bit of tension off of the bottom. So yeah, I guess do not over tighten these when this is folded forward, unless that's part of their plan, I'm not sure. Alright, for shits and giggles, I tightened these all the way up with some wire ties, and then tried to fold the seat to see. It does fold, but there's a lot of tension, like it wants to spring forward. So I'm sticking with this. Like I said, I had about 2 inches up here, 1.5 inches here. I might tighten them up a little bit more. I left a little bit of length on the wire tie just so I can pull it with some pliers. Where I'm at now is I drilled these holes out for these little guide spacer rail thingies. And what I came up with is from the Velcro, not the Velcro, but this supported seam here, it's 7/8. Looks like that one's a little bit more, but they were pretty much 7/8 on all 4 of them. And from the bottom, I couldn't measure from this one because this one's angled. So from the bottom, it's 6 inches up on all 4 of them. So I am going to rivet those on with these Mondo rivets, making sure that this high side or the long side is on the inside. And that should complete these seats. All right, today we are at George's, where the body of the plane is, and I just want to finish up these seat rails. So basically I took from the station 2A, and I measured a perpendicular line right up to there, and then drilled the holes for the top rails. I was really confused on what they said about putting the quick release pin, this 1/4" quick release pin, into the lower hole, and then latching it into the last ridge, because it just doesn't work without hitting this pole back here. So anyway, I went on the Facebook group and asked, and I got the response that the manual is correct. My thought is that the quick pin should be in the upper hole, meaning this hole, and then everything makes sense. But anyway, today's project is to rivet these in, because I had the rivets at my house, and then figure out this bottom piece. So we'll probably slide the whole airplane forward so we can get in from underneath to put the thread sets in for this. I think this almost completes the seats. As you can tell by the missing engine instrument panel, side panels, roof wings, and windows, we jumped up ahead a little bit, but the seats are in, and so are the seat heaters. And I say almost done is because this threaded rivet broke on me. I was kind of mad about that, so I taped the last bolt on there. And for those that are curious, I measured from this line to here, and it was the beginning of this 3 3/4 inches. It all ends up being halfway down this. I was very confused on where to position these, but that seems to work. I'll let you know if something turns out otherwise, but I think the position of the pin is going to be one of the middle two here, and everything else worked out really nice. So pretty happy with that. Ready to go flying, George?
Yep. Let's go.